My name is Tori, this is Nova Life, and welcome back to my channel. In today's video, I have if you like this book, then you need to read this book. So I've done this a couple of times, and you guys seem to really like this. I love finding books that give me the same vibes to like other books that I really enjoy. I love finding like similar emotions that they bring out of me and all of that. So I have a decent amount of books to talk about. I have like 6. If you like this, read this. So let's just go ahead and jump right in. Now, this is a perfect pairing for summer. If you've read It Happened One Summer by Tessa Bailey, which is a pretty popular contemporary coastal small town romance, then you need to read Off the Hook by Julie Olivia. So I recently listened to the audiobook of Off the Hook, and it was giving me similar vibes to It Happened One Summer. It's one of those books where they both take place on a coastal town. In this book, our female character comes from like a lot of money. She comes to this small coastal town to try to get away, and he's like super grumpy. She's very sunshiny. In an Off the Hook, it is very much like that. She is very sunshiny. She comes to the coastal town, but she's not like super popular in the limelight or anything like that. She just comes to visit, but they're both like opposite attract. It gives me the same vibes. And so if you've read It Happened One Summer and you want a book that gives you similar vibes, check out Off the Hook by Julie Olivia. I really like the small townness of both of them, but Off the Hook was really good as well. The next pairing I have is one that is a pretty popular book. So if you've read A Photo Finish by Elsie Silver, then you need to read Downpour by Maggie Gates. So I've heard Maggie Gates go around. I've heard and seen on Instagram and threads, like if you love Elsie Silver, you love Maggie Gates books. And I finally read Downpour back in May, and I was so impressed by her writing. I really like this small town. I love the banter between the characters. And if you've read A Photo Finish, there is something in A Photo Finish that is also in Downpour. I don't want to say what because it may be a spoiler. But I love this type of representation in it. I love anything with this representation, I will say. I'm trying to be very vague. But if you're looking for like a grumpy sunshine, this is it. In A Photo Finish, Cole is so grumpy and Violet is so sunshiny, and they're forced together. They're forced proximity. And Downpour, she goes to be like a caretaker for the house, and she goes and she's sunshine incarnate. He is so grumpy. I mean, he has a reason to be grumpy, but he's super grumpy as well. And they break down each other's walls. Like both female characters break down the main male character's walls. And it was giving me like very similar vibes, but still very different. Like it's not the same in the slightest of the plot and anything like that, but it was giving me the same vibes to where I was like, okay, Maggie Gates, like I can recommend you as someone who, if someone has read all of Elsie Silver books, which I have almost read all of her books, then you could definitely read Maggie Gates, because definitely giving me similar vibes with the small town, the found family, the atmosphere, the banter, all of that stuff. I loved it. So yeah, this is a pairing I would definitely recommend to a lot of people. So if you've read A Photo Finish, definitely check out Downpour by Maggie Gates. The next book I have that I'm very excited for is If You've Read Just for the Summer by Abby Jimenez, which is a super popular, everyone loved this book this year. Like everyone is in love with a hero and everything like that. Then you need to read The Brightest Light of Sunshine by Lucina Connie. So I read this book actually first, and then I read Just for the Summer, and I was like, wow, there's a lot of similarities with like the aspects of the romance. Now, in The Brightest Light of Sunshine, it is an age gap. He is like 12 years older than her. And in Just for the Summer, I don't think there's an age gap, but there's no fake dating in The Brightest Light of Sunshine either. But it's one of those things where if you loved the ending for Just for the Summer, where it's two people who really love each other and you can tell that like they are really into each other, like this could be their forever person, but certain circumstances like keeps them away from each other, that's where these two books are very similar, and the emotions that I felt during these two books of why I think they're similar. So in The Brightest Light of Sunshine, you see that our main hero, he has to take care of his little sister who is 4 years old, and he's in his 30s. His mom is basically a piece of crap and cannot keep up and, you know, make sure that this little girl is having the best life. So as her brother, he takes on that responsibility and takes care of these kids. Now, in Just for the Summer, you see that his mom is not in the best place either, and he's in his late 20s, early 30s. He has to, you know, like resume responsibility for his younger siblings who I think it's 2 or 3 of them, and they're in like one's teenage years and they're younger than that. So it definitely is giving me similar vibes to that because that is like the main point of conflict in both of these books. So I will say if you loved Just for the Summer, I think you literally are gonna love The Brightest Light of Sunshine. This is such an underrated book and I want more people to read it so badly because I loved it a lot. The next pairing I have is another Tessa Bailey book because she's super popular. So if you've read Fangirl Down by Tessa Bailey, then you need to read, and I literally mean you need to read, Sweet Spot by Rebecca Jinchak. So I've read both of these books. I really enjoyed this one, but if I had to compare, I love Sweet Spot more. I just feel like it's like more my speed, less rom-com. Like this is definitely more rom-com Tessa Bailey writing. Sweet Spot by Rebecca Jinchak is not as rom-com-y, but still like really good. A lot of golf. They're both golf. Now in this book, she is his biggest fan, so she becomes his caddy when he doesn't have a caddy anymore. So he's like a pro golfer. And in Sweet Spot, she is in college still, and she finds out that the male team on for her college is getting a coach, a swing coach, which is our hero. So there's a little bit of an age gap in here, there's a little bit of age gap in here, but they're very, very different in the way, like, style of writing. I love this book. The banter in Sweet Spot is so good. The banter in Fangirl Down is always good. Tessa Bailey always writes it really, really well, but I love the emotions that Sweet Spot brought out of me. There was some emotions in here. I will say that this book has chronic illness rep. She is diabetic, so that's always in here and stuff like that, but yeah, if you're looking for one that gives you the same vibe as Fangirl Down, definitely read Sweet Spot by Tessa Bailey. The next one I have is, like, I don't know which one's the more popular, so I usually put the one that's more popular first, but if you've read the Mind F series by S.T. Abbey, you need to read Butcher and Blackbird and this whole Ruinous Love trilogy. So I recently read Leather and Lark, which is the second book in this series, and it's giving me the same vibes, it's just with like different characters. So I will say the Mind F series is a lot darker. It's definitely, I would consider a dark romance. There's a lot of triggers in this book, but if you're looking for something like slightly lighter but still dark, definitely check out this series. And Butcher and Blackbird, they're both serial killers. In the Mind F series, she's a serial killer and he's the FBI agent assigned to her case, so it's a little bit forbidden in this way, but this one is like over years and years and years, and they slowly start to come together. I loved this book. I really enjoyed Leather and Lark too, which he is a killer in Leather and Lark and she is a serial killer. He's like a contract killer and he's trying to get out of his contracts and stuff like that, so they kind of have like a fake dating, fake marriage type thing, and it's still very rom-com-y. But I will say Butcher and Blackbird's my favorite. I don't know what it was. I love the banter. I love how like cinnamon rolly both of them are, specifically the hero when he's a serial killer, so that's so good. But yeah, if you're looking for similar vibes, definitely check out these two. And the last pairing I have is that if you've read The Veiled Kingdom by Holly Renee, which is an extremely popular book, then you need to read Blood and Steel by Helen Schwartz. It gives me the same vibes. I love when the characters really hold their own, both male and female. And in Blood and Steel, you see that she wants to become a warrior, which he is, and he kind of takes her under his wing, and she has to like figure out all these things. And so obviously this is a lot bigger. The world building in this is a lot bigger and a lot more. But if you want like a little bit more of a toned down fantasy world, check out The Veiled Kingdom. Now both of these definitely end on a cliffhanger, but our female character in both of these books give me the same similar vibes. She's hiding something. In this book, he's hiding something. So it's one of those things where I love them for different reasons, and they have similar crossover. Like okay, so if you like both of these, I will definitely say read them, but they're not like as perfect of a match as some of these other books I talked about, but I did really enjoy both of these. So if you've read one or the other, definitely check out these fantasy romances because I love them. Those are all of the pairings that I have for this video. For the emoji, leave me a dagger emoji for fantasy and for The Veiled Kingdom because she has a dagger and she likes it and she trains with that. So yeah, leave me a dagger emoji in the comments down below. Thank you guys so much for watching. Make sure you like and subscribe for more content for me. As always, I hope you're living a novel life, and I will see you in my next one. Bye guys.